How do you feel about a 4-day work week? Personally, as a student, I'm all for year-round school with 4-day weeks and 2 to 3 weeks off during summer. Having summer completely off is outdated and really hurts students. Like fuck, I'm so happy I did a calculus class over the summer, otherwise I'd be fucked. Edit. This is from almost a purely academic standpoint. I get how people felt they needed the summer break, or how it gave them wonderful family and or travel experiences. Academically, the 3-month summer break is pretty bad, with it even having a well-known name, summer brain rot. A track system that suggested is honest to goodness the best way. Summer class is for those like me who enjoy school, and summer break for those who need it. Yes, I'm a teacher at a rural school and we have 4-day weeks every other week. It's awesome and allows me time to go for appointments and other weekday things in town an hour and a half away. I get paid the same as any other teacher, but our school day is about 45 minutes longer. I often put in extra work on the Fridays we have off anyway, and it means I can actually get a full weekend without thinking about work or doing planning. It's been amazing for my mental health too. As a teacher, how would you feel about getting rid of, or hugely shrinking, summer vacation but also moving to 4-day weeks? I always see debates about whether summer vacation is a good idea anyway, at least with how long it currently is. I think if school aligned closer to the typical work schedules, most parents would be happy. So yeah, doing the 4-day week for school only makes sense if most jobs also did it. But obviously summers off is a nice perk for teachers, most of whom don't get a lot of perks. When you put it like that, 52 extra days per year, it becomes a slam dunk yes. Unfortunately I'm teacher, and it won't switch for me unless the rest of society changes to it first. Only districts that do 4 days right now tend to be rural. Edit. The number of people who don't realize that a majority of teachers work during the summer is astounding. Personally, I would gladly take a year-round school year if it meant shorter weeks. Plenty of places across the world use that schedule, and summer break is mostly outdated. It should also be noted that teachers do not get paid for the summer. To clarify what I mean by this, my district along with those in my area only offer a 9-month pay schedule. First check is in September and the last check is in June. You get good at budgeting, because you have to if you want money for June, July, and August. Edit 2. This has started some lively conversation which I love. Definitely heard several interesting / different perspectives on this topic. While having the option to do 4 10-hour days would be nice, people could decide if it would improve their lives. It's a terrible plan from the perspective of societal benefit. No matter how much idiot workaholics claim otherwise, productivity is not steady across an 8-hour day. Most people can do, in a 6-hour day, the same level of productivity they could in an 8, maybe 10% less. Maybe, if we want to make society better, people should work closer in line to school. 9 to 3, 30-hour week makes a lot more sense, and then most of us wouldn't need a 4-day week to get stuff done. There'd still be time to get stuff done during the week. And those without kids, give them the option of 4 8-hour days. Most of them would probably prefer the day off. Most of the models I have seen are contingent on 4 8-hour days and maintaining same benefits. Without that redefinition of normal full-time employment, the benefits are not gained. As for what day to implement as the off day, by vote is Wednesday. That way you have 2 Fridays to look forward to. The off day should float. Everyone should take different off days. Then we could go to the bank or post office on our own off days, because some people still work that day. I'm glad you're happy, but this is the only bit I have a problem with. A 7 AM start, or let's say 7 PM finish, is not good for the vast majority of people. It shouldn't be about 10-hour days to get another day off. It should be about reducing the overall time people spend at work in order to improve well-being. 4x 8-hour days is better than 4x 10. Obviously, it's a very fortunate outcome that productivity is shown to increase, because if it wasn't for that, we'd probably never get this done. My company switched to 4 10-hour days. We are diesel technicians and work 7-5:30. Half of us work Monday through Thursday and the other half work Tuesday through Friday. We have did this for over 2 years and we all love it. It is so nice to have a 3-day weekend every week. Another thing about it that is nice is, if you doctor's appointment or something I can make it on a Monday and don't have to miss any work. Plus I forgot to mention, having a 2-month this helps out a ton. More time for me to be with my wife and daughter. And if there is a lot to do I can just come in on Monday and boom 10 hours of overtime. My employer gives us every other Friday off. We work 80 hours over 9 days, MTH. It's really helpful to have those Fridays to schedule appointments, and I have less desire to burn PTO throughout the year, just to take a much needed Friday off. Through the end of October, I had only used 2.5 PTO hours for the year, mostly for doctor's visits. The only real downside is that on the Fridays that we do work, nobody wants to do anything. We did the same thing, but we rotated. Some had Mondays and some had Fridays, and we alternated those as well. So any given day we would only be missing 25% of the office. And everyone had different days, so we weren't collectively not wanting to be there on one day, lol. Honestly, the lack of time is why I'm consciously killing my sleep schedule. Kiddos down and everything by 9, stay up till midnight or later, to make sure I spend time with my wife, and also have some me time. And if something else comes up, I just end up staying up later to feel like I didn't waste my entire day at work / doing chores around the house just to turn around and do it all over again. Hello, coffee, my old friend. That's exactly my schedule. Leave to work. Commute for an hour there and back. Pick up my daughter at daycare. Come home, go grocery shopping if needed. Cook dinner with girlfriend or cook dinner by myself depending if she is home. Eat dinner while watch some TV, wash dishes / give daughter a bath, put my daughter to bed, and I only have a couple hours before shower and bed. Going to bed at 1 every day, and waking up at 6 to do it again. They talked about this in the 70s. Yay, everyone said. My dad did it. He worked for 12+ hour days, and took off Friday. Everyone else was like, if I work the 12 hours the 4 days plus another 12, I can make even more money. Yay. I remember this happening with one of the Kellogg companies. They reduced the number of hours of every worker in order to avoid massive layoffs. Then everyone was just so happy with the new structure, they kept it for decades, until larger shifts in the economy made workers rethink what they wanted, and they went back to a 40-hour work week in order to make more money. I think the workers were just reflective of what people wanted at the time, more money, in order to purchase more things / leisure activities / etc. But there's a pretty significant shift in what people want now, where I feel a lot of younger people care more about how much time they have. Possibly because they grew up seeing that the race to acquire wealth wasn't really paying out the benefits that were promised. Happiness, life satisfaction, etc. I feel like people are missing the point, which is that we need to shorten the work week / amount of time spent at work. When people say we should switch to 4-day work weeks, they don't mean 4 10s or 4 12s. We need to work less, meaning 4-day weeks that are still 8-hour days or less, because most people could get the same amount of work done in 4 5 or 6-hour days as they do spreading it out over 5 8s and procrastinating at work as much as they can. With adding in commuting time and any time outside of work spent thinking about work, answering texts or emails, etc., the average adult spends way too much time on work. Describing my life even with time off for vacation. I work 205 days per year, about 10 to 12 hours per day, salaried, and I'm a shell of a person. No matter how hard I work, there is no progress. Nothing gets better. The system sucks the soul from you. People come up with ideas that make things worse. Everyone pretends like things are good, and no one has the resources to do what needs to get done. I work for 9-hour days and then half-day Fridays. The Fridays themselves are awesome, because even though it's a half day, with the proximity to the weekend, and how many people take those days off, they are barely work days at all. Not stressful at all. This is awesome too because you can get a 3-day weekend by only taking a half vacation day. The biggest downside that people don't realize is how much working a 9-hour or 10-hour, usually I'm here from 8 to 6, day really sucks. You arrive when it's dark, you leave when it's dark, and by the time you get home it's 6:30/7, and you can do one thing before needing to go to bed. Working out, cooking, cleaning, all become a lot harder when you're home at that hour instead of home at 5:05:30 every day. The half-day Fridays themselves can be a lot of fun in summer when there are things to do, but you know what happens in winter? I go home at 12 and sleep for a couple hours to make up for sleep deprivation earlier in the week lol. It all evens out in the end. My BF works 4/10s and it's a total game changer. It's adjusted his schedule, so he wakes up at earlier hours on his days off, which gives him more day in his day, on top of already having an extra one. I'm self-employed and I try to have all my work done by Fridays, so we usually get 3-day weekends together, which also makes taking short trips easier without missing any work. It also opens up a weekday for him to do certain things that have more limited hours on weekends like appointments and whatnot. Edit, typo. Given that we now have more people in the workforce and supposedly more productivity because of automation, we ought to be dropping down to 32-hour weeks to compensate for the changes in our household structures. I not only think it would be great, I think we should go further and eliminate required work hours for certain jobs altogether. Most office jobs can easily be done from home with a phone and a working internet connection. There's no reason to force people to commute and sit on a cubicle for hours and hours every week, just so bosses can make sure they're working. That's 1919 thinking, not 2019 thinking. When you hire me, you should pay me X amount of dollars for Y amount of work. Whether it takes me 12 hours a week or 54 hours a week to get it done, my salary X never changes. And any free time is my own. I wholeheartedly agree. I managed changing my work contract from working full-time in an office to working whenever I want from home as a freelancer for the same amount of money. I deliver the same exact amount of work while working half of the time. How much does it take me? It's my only business. I'm 6 months in, and they are very happy with me. Everybody gained something here. They spend for me exactly as much as before, probably even less considering they have a person less to take care of and to offer benefits to, and I'm not full-blown depressed because of a fascist office job. Now I'm depressed only because of existence. Not saying it works for every job and every person, but for sure it does for some. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, hit like. If you would like to see more, feel free to subscribe.